If you've been researching the Nashville suburbs for any amount of time, you have almost certainly landed on this exact question: Brentwood or Franklin? Both are in Williamson County, both feed into the same top-ranked school district, both offer a quality of life that is genuinely difficult to find anywhere else in the country at this price point. And on a map, they are less than 10 miles apart. So what is the actual difference? And more importantly, which one is right for your family? Those two questions will be answered in this video completely. My name is Jack Laron and I specialize in Williamson County real estate, and I work with relocating families in both of these communities all the time. So let's get into it. Real quick, before we dive in, if you're actively planning a move to the Williamson County area, I work with families and retirees making this exact decision every single week. People from all over the country who are trying to figure out which community is the right fit before they ever step foot on a plane. Whether you are 6 months out or 2 years out, I would love to help you think this through. There is a link in the description to schedule a free relocation consultation. No pressure, just a real conversation. Now, let's break down these two communities category by category. All right, the big picture. First, the geography, because this matters. Brentwood sits directly south of Nashville, essentially the first major suburb you hit when you cross out of Davidson County, heading south on I-65. Franklin is about 8 to 10 miles further south of Brentwood along that same corridor. Both cities are fully within Williamson County, which means both get the same tax advantages, the same school district, and the same general quality of infrastructure. What separates them is character, inventory, and lifestyle. And those differences are significant enough to make one clearly better for certain types of buyers. The short version before we go deep: Brentwood is the closer, quieter, more established option with limited inventory and premium price per square foot. Franklin is slightly further out, has a vibrant historic downtown, considerably more new construction inventory, and a slightly more social community feel. Now, let's go category by category. Home prices and what you get. Starting with home prices, that is where most searches begin. In Brentwood, the average sales price for an existing home runs from roughly $900,000 to well over $1 million, and inventory is tight. You are largely looking at established homes built from the 1980s through the early 2000s. Larger lots, mature trees, established neighborhoods. New construction in Brentwood is rare because the land is simply not there. In Franklin, the market has more range. Average prices start in a similar territory around $950,000 to $1 million, but the ceiling is higher because Franklin has significantly new construction activity from premium builders. If new construction is a priority, Franklin is where the conversation happens. You also have more options at various price points, which means less pressure to make a fast decision on a limited pool. The key trade-off: Brentwood buyers often pay a premium for proximity and lot size. Franklin buyers often get more square footage and newer finishes for a comparable dollar, but with a slightly longer commute. Downtown, Franklin has one, Brentwood does not. This is one of the clearest differences between these two communities and is worth spending real time on because it shapes daily life in a significant way. Franklin has a historic downtown. Main Street in Franklin is generally one of the most charming small city commercial districts in Tennessee, lined with locally owned restaurants, boutique retail shops, wine bars, coffee houses, live music, and a farmer's market that runs seasonally. It is walkable, it has a real social heartbeat, the kind of place where residents actually spend their evenings and weekends without driving to Nashville. Brentwood does not have a traditional downtown. It has excellent shopping and dining along the Maryland Farms and Cool Spring corridors, national retail brands, quality restaurant chains, a strong commercial infrastructure, but it is a strip and center layout, not a walkable town center. If having a walkable, character-rich downtown close to home is important to a buyer's lifestyle, that comparison points clearly towards Franklin. On the other hand, buyers who prioritize privacy, quietness, and neighborhood feel over social and walkability consistently prefer Brentwood. It depends entirely on the lifestyle the buyer is building, not which option is objectively better. All right, parks, trails, and the outdoor life. Both communities are generally strong for outdoor life, but in different way. Brentwood's outdoor experience is shaped largely by residential character. Lot sizes are substantial. Many properties sit on a half acre to several acres, so green space is built into daily life at the household level. The Brentwood Trail System is one of the most extensive in Middle Tennessee, with over 60 miles of multi-use trails connecting neighborhoods, parks, and greenways. The Deerwood Arboretum and Natural Area offers quiet walking and nature access right inside the city. For families who want outdoor space woven into their home environment rather than requiring a trip to a destination, Brentwood delivers that at a high level. Franklin's outdoor offering is more destination-based, but it is impressive. Harlansdale Farm Park is a 200-acre city park, a former working farm turned into an open green space with walking trails, off-leash dog areas, and regular events, including the beloved Pilgrimage Festival. Pinkerton Park along the Harpeth River offers trails, a replica Civil War fort, and a genuinely beautiful riverfront setting. The Franklin Greenway connects much of the city by trail for cyclists and pedestrians, and the broader Williamson County Park system adds even more access across both communities. The bottom line on parks and outdoors, Brentwood gives you privacy and trail access built into the fabric of the neighborhood. Franklin gives you larger dedicated park destinations with more social programming. All right, driving distance and commute to Nashville. Commute time is one of those variables that sounds minor in the research phase and becomes significant in daily life. From central Brentwood, downtown Nashville is approximately 18 to 20 minutes via I-65 North under normal conditions. Nashville Airport is roughly 20 minutes. That proximity is one of Brentwood's most consistent selling points for buyers who travel for work or need regular access to the city. From Franklin, the numbers shift. Downtown Nashville runs 20 to 30 minutes in normal traffic. The airport is closer to 30 to 35 minutes. That is not a dramatic difference on paper, but for a buyer who's making that drive 5 days a week, the cumulative effect is real. It is the difference between an easy commute and a commute that starts to factor into quality of life decisions. One note that is worth making, both of these communities sit along the I-65 corridor, and the traffic heading north into Nashville during peak hours can extend both of these times significantly. Buyers who are commuting daily into the city should test the actual drive during rush hour before making a location decision, not just rely on Google Maps at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. All right, schools. Both are excellent. Here is the nuance. Both Brentwood and Franklin are served by Williamson County Schools, consistently ranked among the top public school systems in Tennessee and highly regarded nationally. That is foundational advantage for both communities and for families relocating from high-cost states where quality public education is either inaccessible or unreliable. It is often the deciding factor for the entire move. The nuance is at the individual school level. Within the district, specific elementary, middle, and high school assignments are determined by the exact address of the home, not the city. Brentwood High School, Ravenwood High School in Brentwood, Independence, and Franklin High School in Franklin all have strong reputations, but each has its own programs, athletics, academics, and size. A family with a specific school in mind needs to confirm that the home they are considering is zoned for that school before making any commitments. This is one of the most common oversights in the relocation process. Buyers assume that being in Williamson County is the whole answer. It is most of the answer, but zoning still matters, and it is one of the first things to clarify in any home search conversation. Okay, vibe and community feel. Who each city is really for. Beyond the numbers, there is a feel to each of these communities that matters just as much as the data, and it is worth naming directly. Brentwood tends to attract buyers who prioritize a quieter, more private residential experience. Neighbors exist, but homes are set back. The neighborhood energy is calm and established. Residents tend to be rooted. Many have been in the same home for a decade or more. There is a sense of permanence and settled confidence to Brentwood that is hard to quantify, but very easy to feel when you're driving through it. For families who have spent years in dense, loud, overstimulated environments and want a soft landing, Brentwood is often exactly what they are looking for. Franklin draws a somewhat different buyer. The presence of a real downtown, the active social calendar, the newer construction, communities with shared amenities. Franklin skews towards buyers who want a lifestyle, not just a location. People who want to walk to dinner, who want to see familiar faces at the Saturday farmers market, who want the feeling of being part of a town and not just a suburb. Franklin also tends to attract younger families who want the new construction and the energy that comes with a growing community. Neither description is better. They describe different people with different priorities, and the right answer for any specific family almost always becomes clear when those priorities are laid out honestly. All right, the verdict, how to choose. So how do you choose? Choose Brentwood if proximity to Nashville matters, you want a larger established lot with mature trees and privacy, inventory constraints are acceptable given the long-term value, and your ideal weekend looks like trails, quiet streets, and space over social energy. Choose Franklin if you want a downtown you can actually walk, new construction is a priority, and you want options at a range of price points, and your ideal community has a social heartbeat. Restaurants, events, that sense of being part of a living, active town. And if you are genuinely on the fence, which many buyers are after hearing all of this, that is not indecision. That is a sign that you need someone who knows both communities from the inside to walk through the specific options in each market that match what you are actually looking for. That is a conversation worth having before you land on a zip code. If you made it through this entire video, you are doing this right. The families who invest this kind of research time before they move are the ones who land well and avoid the location regret that catches less prepared buyers off guard. Here's what to do. Click the link in the description to schedule a free relocation consultation. We will take everything you just heard and map it against your specific situation, your budget, your timeline, your family's needs, and come out of that with a conversation with a clear, honest recommendation on where to focus your search. Also grab the free Williamson County relocation guide in the description. It goes deeper on neighborhoods, new construction builders, and school zoning than we had time here. I've also provided a free link to a free home search tool so you can get an idea of the housing options available and your requirements. Like this video if it was useful, subscribe for more Williamson County content every week.